Oh, good evening and welcome to Ryan's Family Amusements in Millis. Tonight we have the final match of the 2022-23 ACST season. This is a B match. There's two matches going on today, and we have Bob Lee versus Mike Capone and Rick Kamroski versus Cochi, who's not here tonight. He couldn't make it. So in his stead, Ashlee Breton will be bowling as a pacer. And Rick Kamroski will be bowling against Cochi's average. So when a bowler has to forfeit a match, the other bowler still has to bowl for points. This is a very important pair of matches. This has playoff implications for all three bowlers that are in the match. So we started out, and Ashlee on the right, bowling to pace Rick Kamroski. She started with 7, and Mike Capone on the left. Mike Capone is the home bowler, and he's elected to go first tonight. And he dropped 7 on his first ball. Ashlee picked up 1. And going second in these matches will be Bob Lee on the left and Rick Kamroski on the right. So just to remind everybody who has not seen one of these matches before, the bowlers will be bowling 5 games. And they bowl the 5 games, 5 boxes at a time on one lane, and then they switch and go to the other lane. So then the other bowler comes in and bowls on the same lane. So Mike and Bob will be bowling on lane 15, Ashlee and Rick on lane 16 for the first half of this string. Mike Capone finished with a 10 box, Ashlee with a 9 box. Again, they're not going head to head.
Oh, that was a hell of a shot, Mike.
And this is the B division of the ACST, the B South division that's bowling here, with the exception of Ashlee. And Ashlee picks up a spare. She's been bowling amazingly lately. I expect to see big things out of her coming this next year. And Mike Capone's on a spare as well. Matching spares on lane 15 and 16. So, in the B division, there are 8 bowlers that will go to the playoffs out of the South Conference, and the first 6 of those have already been determined. In 7 is Kevin Beaupre. Ashlee picked up a spread eagle with 4 for her fill. Mike picked up 4 for his fill. In 8th is Brian Fournier. In 9th is Kyle Hetty. In 10th is Rick Kamroski. And 11th is Mike Capone. And 12th is Bob Lee. So 2 of these bowlers I just mentioned will be going to the playoffs. And it's tight. So Kevin's got 126 in wins. Brian and Kyle both have 120. Rick's at 113, but Mike's at 113, and Bob's at 110. However, those last 3, Rick, Mike, and Bob, still have this match to go. So it's very possible for a number of scenarios to play out. Any of them can, if they have a big win today, can move up in the standings and make the playoffs in a wild card. We could end up with a 4-way tie, conceivably. So a lot of stuff here. This is a critical match for these bowlers. After 3 boxes, Mike Capone's at 31, and Ashlee's also at 31. And Mike's left with a check mark on the right. Ashlee's got 3 lined up nice on need on the right-hand side with the wood in front of it. I think the red line might take it. Let's see. She's to the right of the red line, but gets another spare. And Mike on a spare attack for the check mark. He's on the object pin, and everything but the 5 pin goes. That was a good attempt. And a 9 box for Capone for 40 after 4. All of these bowlers bowl out of Millis. I bowl with all of them. And Mike has finished out the season with, let me pull this up here. There's his numbers. He finished out the season prior to this match with a 110.16 average. And Mike has 7 in his drop. Ashlee puts 7 on her fill. It's left with the castle right, and she almost picks it up. Mike with the 1, 3, and 8.
Oh, yeah.
And looked good going down, but he only picked up the 1 and the 8, so he's open for the 5th box. And Ashlee's going to finish with a 9 box for 57 at the half. And Mike finishes with a 10 box for 50 after 5. So now we get to see Rick Kamroski on the right and Bob Lee on the left.
You should change Ashlee. You don't have to change it.
Working production tonight, as Bob is bowling, and usually works production when we're doing these, is our friend John Ahern. Okay, Rick Kamroski on the right finished the season up to this match with a 112 average. And Bob Lee finished with a 109 average. So the averages have been pretty high. Originally, the B division was supposed to be from a 100 to 109 average. And we have a lot of bowlers in this division who finished quite a bit higher than that. In fact, that's been true throughout the ACST and all the divisions. Rick on his first ball dropped 6, and he's off to the left, dropped the ball. He's got the 1, 2, 4, and 8. And Bobby just has the 4 and the 7 with some wood. And he went to the right, tried to move that wood over, picked up just 1. And that's a much better ball by Kamroski, picks up the 10. That's what he meant to do on the second ball, but he still has it. And Bobby sits with a 9 box. So in the first box, Mike had a 10 and Bob has a 9. In the first box on the other side, Ashlee had a 9 and Rick has a 10. Rick on a 2-pin takes out just 3. He's got a big mess down there. Kind of a half Worcester plus 1. And Bob had a good hit there, took out 8. Just a 6 and a 10 left. Oh, Rick made a great bid on that, trying to go on the inside. And Bob goes wide to the right, just gets the 10 pin. Okay, and Rick has a 7 box, 17 after 2. So again, Rick is bowling against Cocchi's average, which is a 107. So anything he throws over a 107 for a game is worth 2 points. So he's got to be at 107 or 108 or better in every game to get 2 points. He's on the head pin. And again, to remind everybody, the bowlers get 2 points for each game that they win, 4 points for the total. A total of 14 points is awarded. So if you won all 5 games and obviously the total, that would be a 14-point win for you that you'd be awarded toward your standings. Oh, Rick made a great effort on that one, a little to the right on the wood. And Bobby was a tiny bit full on the head pin. They're both left with a few pins to pick up. Rick's got 3 left, and he gets them all. Another 10 box. 27 after 3. And Bob has a 9 box for 27 after 3 also. 2 bowlers are pacing each other quite well. And Rick Kamroski has a 9 drop with a 5 pin, thinking about falling, but it didn't. And Bob Lee drops 8, has just a 4 and the 8 left. Rick's just got to go straight at that pin. There's wood there, but I don't think it's material. And he bounces it, but it doesn't matter. He's got the spare. And Bobby picks up a spare off the wood, just like he intended. All right, so now we're going into the fill. At this point in the match, Mike Capone had 40, so Bob is at 37 plus a ball. And Rick is at also 37 plus his first ball. Nice ball on the head pin, a little full, and he's left with 3. He took 7 in his spare, and Bob put 6 in his spare as a diamond on the left. So Bob's at 43 after 4, and Rick is at 44. And he is as a 4-7-10 split. He's got wood there that may help. And he moved it around, but only took out the 10 pin. Bob's just going straight on the diamond, no wood. And off to the left. And a 10 box for Rick Kamroski. He ends the half at 54, which is exactly the pace he needs to get a 108. And Bob finishes with a 9 box. He's at 52, so he has a 2-pin lead over Mike Capone at the moment. So now the bowlers switch lanes, and Ashlee Breton will come up on lane 15. She's at 57 at the half. Expect to see a lot of great things out of Ashlee. She came in partway through the season to take over for another bowler. Did quite well for herself. And she had a big win on Saturday against Mike Cocchii, who then proceeded to beat me. So Capone puts it down the center and takes out the middle pins for a spread eagle. Only picks up 1 on the spare attempt. Ashlee was right in the pocket on that. And we got some late action. And now she's left with just a 3 and a 7. She's going for it and just misses. Some bowlers would go for just a 7 because of the wood, and a bolder bowler such as Ashlee will attempt to get the 10. And a nice ball for Ashlee. Mike picks up a strike. So that puts Mike at 66 plus 2 balls in the 7. And Ashlee is on the spare attempt. And unbelievable, but the pin deflected the ball in front of the object pin that she was going for. And by a piece of paper thickness of a miss, she ends up with a 9 box. That was very, very close. So Ashlee's a 74 after 7. Mike has got 2 fill balls now in the 7th box. So 66 plus 2 balls. And the first ball yields 6. Ashlee again with a 9 drop. She's getting that ball right in there. They both look like strike balls. Mike on his second fill ball, a spare attempt. And he gets the spare. So a spare on strike and a 10 fill. And Ashlee picks up her spare. So Mike's at 76 after 7. And now he's at 86 plus a ball in the 8th box. One fill ball for Mike. Here we go. He's off on the 3 pin, but he gets 7. Ashlee's on the head pin. Picks up 7 in her fill, is left with a castle left. With some wood in front of it, might help. Mike's got 3 in a row. 1, 2, 4. And he went off to the right, moved the wood around, picked up just 1. Ashlee picks up the castle. Nice shot, nicely done. And I just noticed our friend Kyle Hetty here is here watching.
And then give us, and then you control B there. No, not there. In the box. Click on the box. Yeah, there you are. The last thing you paste will always be under control B.
All right, we're coming into box 10. Mike's at 102 after 9, and he drops a bomb. So that gives him 112 plus this ball.
So he's going to throw a 120.
Ashlee picks up 7. Picks up 5 in her spare. I'm sorry, it looked like 7 for a second from this point of view. So she's at 106 plus whatever this third ball gives her. And she picks up a 9. For 115 for Ashlee's first game. Mike is at 112 plus 2. First ball, he's off on the 3-pin, but he takes out 6. He's got the 4 horsemen to the left. And the second ball for the fill, and he picks up 2 of the 4, an 8 fill, and that gives Mike Capone a 120 string to start. So a good start for Capone. And now Bob Lee will be on lane 16 and Rick Kamroski on lane 15. And Kamrowski's at 54 at the half. Lee is at 52 up against a 120 string. Rick is up against a 107. And Bob Lee on his first ball is left with a Caleri on the right. 4 horsemen plus the 9-pin. Kamrowski in the pocket and leaves himself the 2, 7, 10 split, and I believe the 8-pin is sitting back there too. He's got some wood that he might find useful. It's in his sweet spot with his left-handed hook. He's going to try it. And it picks up just the 2 and the 10, and he's left with the 7 and the 8-pin for the 10 attempt. And Bob's going for the 10 attempt after dropping 9, and he has a 10 box for 62. At the moment, as of box 6, he's ahead of Mike Capone, but he's up against a strike spare, 9 and another strike. So Bob needs to produce some marks here. Rick's at 63 after 6. Bobby goes off to the left onto the 4-pin, just picks up 3. And Rick is on the head pin. Went over to the right-hand side of the head pin, and he picked up everything but the check mark left. So Bob going to the right onto the 6-pin, leaving the diamond in the middle. And Rick was on the object pin, but he didn't get the spare. He's still pretty close to pace here for what he needs, but he does need at least a mark here. So Bob finishes with a 9 box, and he's at 71 after 7. And Rick picks up the 10, puts him at 73, so Bob is 5 pins down in completed boxes to Capone's 76, and Rick's is 73. And he needs 35 pins in 3 boxes to win this string. So he's going to have to get 1 spare to do that. And Kamrowski's on the left on the 2-pin. And he's got a leave, which is makeable. It's a 1-8. It's tricky. Bob for the Kamrowski special on the right picks up just the 2-pin. And Rick picks up just the 8. Now he needs to get the 10 and pick up a spare in the next 2 boxes. Bob closes with a 8 box, and he's at 79 to Mike Capone's 93 in completed boxes. And Rick has a 9 box, and that gives him 82. So right now, Rick needs 26 pins to win this string. And Bob on the 2-pin is left with a bit of a mess down there, the 1, 4, 7, 9, 10. And Rick is on the head pin and drops 9. He's got a nice fat piece of wood in front of that 10-pin. And I think as long as he hits that to the right, that should go. Bob picks up just 2 in his spare attempt. And Kamroski has his spare that he needs. Now he needs to fill it and have a good finish. And Capone will win the first string here. As Bob is now at 88. And he needs 32 pins in one box, so even a triple strike will equal to that. Regardless, pin count is very important, so Bob's going to try to close out with as big of a box as he can. And now Rick wants at least a 6 fill on this. And that's a 7 fill. So he does not have to make another spare, but he needs at least a 9 box. And Bob Lee spares in the 10th, 98 plus a ball. Kamroski on a spare attempt, and he's got the 9 box, so he will win the string. As I'll remind everybody, Rick is bowling against the Cocchi's average, which is 107. And Rick has now a 108, so that wins the string for him. And that's a 10 box. He closes with a 109. And Bob closes with 105 for his first string. So in the first game, Mike Capone will win the first 2 points and has a 15-pin lead on total. Is that correct? Yeah, I'm just waiting. Yep, it's correct. Okay, yep, so it is correct. I was just curious whether the score was caught up on it. 106. So he had a 7 fill on that, not a 6 fill. So Bob has a 106. Okay. So the first of 5 games is in the books. And Mike Capone has picked up 2 points. And Rick Kamroski has picked up 2 points as well. Ashlee on her first ball. And again, for those of you just joining us, Ashlee is bowling as a pacer. And Mike is bowling against Bob Lee. Rick is bowling against Cocchi, who could not be with us today. So he had to forfeit the match. But when a bowler has forfeited, his opponent still has to bowl and only wins points if he beats the forfeiting bowler's average. And Mike Capone starts with a spare. And Ashlee picks up a 9 box to start. Okay. Coming into box 2 of game 2. And Ashlee is off on the 3-pin, gets a half Worcester right. Mike's got the pretty straight pin in the front. He wants to take that out. And he's off on the 4-pin for a 3 fill for 13 after the first box. And he's got the 2 rows of 4 and 3 on the right left. Ashlee's on the 2-pin and has the 1, 6, 10 left. Mike's on the 3-pin, just picks up a few more and is left with a 1, 2, 6, and 10 for the 10 attempt. And Ashlee has a 7 box. She's a 16 after 2. And Capone picks up a beautiful 10. Kicked the 1-pin over to the 6-10. That was like a textbook shot.
Do you feel like shooting someone?
Yep. So we're going to check speeds right now on the books, or on the board. It's showing Capone throwing at 26 to 27 miles an hour, Ashlee at 23, 24. And
You have the scoreboard to back you up. Usually when you're on Excel, you feel like this.
I picked up Capone's ball at 31 on the gun. And I picked up 27 on Ashlee on the radar. So Bob has a radar gun that we like to use here. Mike has a spare, so that puts him at 33 plus a ball after 3. And Ashlee's got a bit of a mess down there. Could not pick up a 10, only has a 5 box, so she's at 21 after 3. So Ashlee wants to pick up her string. And in the first game, she was all over the head pin. Right now, she's off a little bit. Picked up just 5 on that. Has a 1, 3, 4, 7, 8, which is actually makeable if you can hit the head pin. It's the first order of business in making that spare, and then either drive the pin or the ball over. Mike puts 8 in his fill. He's left with a 4-10 spare, I believe that is, with wood there that may hurt more than it helps. But let's see. Mike's a pretty good bowler. He might make this shot. And what a beautiful shot that was. He played the wood to the left, kicked the pin over, and Ashlee's got a 10. So that puts Mike at 51 and a ball at the 4th box. Ashlee's at 31. Again, the bowlers are not going head-to-head. Mike Capone is bowling Bob Lee, who will come up next. Ashlee is bowling to pace Rick Kamroski, who will come up next. And now Mike's trying to fill his 3rd spare of the first half. And a little too good of a ball. He just punched out and has the spread eagle, so only a 4 fill. Ashlee almost makes her spare. She picked everything but the head pin. So Mike is at 55 after 4. And just picks up 1 in a spread eagle. And Ashlee picks up the 10 for 41.5. And Mike wants to get at least 3 here, so he's probably going to go to the right. And he gets a 3 for an 8 box. Puts Mike with a really nice half of 63. All right, so our friends Rick Kamroski on the right and Bob Lee on the left. Kamroski wearing an Outrun the Bear shirt today. All right. He's contemplating a little, and here we go on his first ball. And Rick is on the 2 pin for a half Worcester left. Again, Rick needs a 108 to win points.
Oh, nice ball, Bob.
Bobby throws a beautiful ball into the left pocket, and he's only left with the 5 and the 8, with a piece of wood in front of that 5 that's very appealing. Rick goes off to the right on the 3 pin, but not bad. We got pretty good results from that. And without a doubt, Bob picks up the spare to match Mike Capone's spare in the first box. And remember, Mike Capone threw 3 spares in the first half. Kamroski with a 9 box. So Bob's at 10 plus his ball versus Mike's 13 first box. And Kamroski on box 2. Light on the head pin takes out 7. He's left with the 2, 5, 8. Little mini triangle down there. Bob on the fill. His ball takes a little bit of a hook to the left, but he drops 8 for 18 after the first box. 1 and 3 is the lead. And Rick picks up that spare. He took 1 off the wall. Beautifully done. He definitely wants to pick up spares early, so he's not put in position of the last 2 boxes, having to mark. And Bob picks up another spare. He's at 28 plus a ball after 2. So he's answering the challenge that Mike Capone put down for him in the first 5 boxes. Kamroski on the fill. In the left pocket. Perfect for a left-handed bowler, and he drops 9. Gives him 28 after 2. And just 1 pin, the 6 pin, standing alone. Bob on a fill. He's off on my alternate head pin, the 6 pin, because I hit that a lot. And only 3 in the fill, but that's 31 after 2. which gives him a lead in completed boxes, but he's up against 2 spares in a row from Mike Capone. And Rick misses a spare effort. Bob makes a valiant effort on that one, and he's left with the 1, 4, 7. Rick misses again. 9 box, 37 after 3. And will Bob go for all 3, or will he just play a safe bet and go for 2? He's going for it. And that's what you risk when you do that. You just got the 1, but sometimes you go for it. Kamroski, box 4, 37 after 3. And again, he's on the 6 pin, but he gets some great late action here. As 8. Bob Lee on the head pin.
Come on, take a friend.
And he has a triangle on the left of the 4, 7, 8 and the 10 pin on the right. So you got to cut something over there, right? I was able to make that myself the other night, so it happens. Looked like he was going to be on the object as it went down, but the ball took a slight break to the left. He only took out the 7. And Rick with another 9 box for 46 after 4. To be on pace for 108, he needs at least a 54 half. And Bob ends up with an 8 box, and he's at 47 after 4. And in completed boxes, Bob Lee was at 55 in the 4th box, so Mike has an 8-pin lead at the moment. But he was open in the 5th, and Rick Kamroski throws a hammer, drops a strike, 56 and 2 balls after the half. Bob Lee gets the curse of the half Worcester on the right. So he really wants the spare here. But he won't. If he gets a 10, he'll be still keeping in the ballpark of where Mike is. Great effort on the spare attempt. Everything goes but the 6, 7, 10. So if he can pick up a couple, he's in pretty decent shape here. Picks up 1, leaves a 7, 10. And Bob Lee sits down with a 55 half. He's down 8 pins from Mike Capone, who's coming up on lane 16. Mike's got 63 after 5 boxes. And Ashlee, our pacer today, is at 41 after 5. So she's looking to make some marks to keep up with her average. And Mike's on the 2 pin and takes out 4. Ashlee's back on the head pin that time. And has the 2, 4, 7, and 6 pin. And Capone almost picks up the spare. Ashlee just picks up the middle pin of that group. And Mike pins out with a 10, 73 after 6. 13 pins over par. And Ashlee has an 8 box, 49 after 6. Okay, Mike on box 7. He's off to the left pocket. He's got the 5, 9, 10 left with some wood. Ashlee throws a great ball. And unfortunately left with a 3-4 split, kind of unusual. Mike picks up that spare. Tough shot, and he makes it. Ashlee's going on the... Oh, we'll see what this wood does. Will it help? Nope, it's going in front. And a 10 box for Ashlee for 59 after 7. Capone 83 after 7 plus a ball. Putting a lot of pressure on Bob Lee. Hey, on his fill ball on box 8. Capone's off the head pin, but no problem there. He still drops 8 for 8 and a fill. It gives him 91 after 7. And a very makeable spare. There's 610 with some juicy wood in front of it. And no doubt about that, he gets another mark, puts him at 101 after 8, plus another fill ball. And Ashlee's left with a diamond in the middle. And an 8 box for 67 after 8. Okay, another fill ball for Mike Capone in the 9th box. He's at 101 after 8, plus this ball. And another spread eagle, 4 fill, 105 after 8, and then a tough spare to go. And Ashlee threw a great ball there, looked like a strike, but she was left with the 6 and the 10. And through the hole again. He hit the head pin a second time. And Ashlee's got the mark. She's been looking for one of those. 77 plus a ball in the 9th. Capone wants to get at least 3 here. And he does. He gets 3. 7 box gives him a 112, which is right where he was in his last string. Okay, coming into box 10 of game 2. Capone puts it in the left pocket. Little light on the head pin, and he's left with a 5-7-10. And Ashlee picks up a half blister left, a 2 fill. 79 after 9. Mike's got some wood here to play with. We'll see how it plays out for him. And he went for the left wood. He was trying to just touch the 5 pin and move it over. Didn't quite go. And Ashlee gets the full Worcester now. It's the right-hand side of that one. About that time, when that happens to me, I'm about ready to overhand the ball, to tell the truth. But she's being patient here. Through the hole again, a 4 box, 83 for her second string. And Capone finishes with a 121, 1 pin better than he did last time. So, again, on the right, Bob Lee's at 55 at the half. He's up against a 121. He needs 66 pins to tie, 67 to win. And Rick Kamroski's at 56 plus 2 balls. He's up against a 107 string. So here's Lee. In the pocket. And everything but the back row. And Bob has described that in terms that he's not happy with that leave. 7, 8, 9, 10. Rick on his first ball, he's off on the 4 pin, but he's got another ball coming. And Bob in a very difficult spare attempt here. And just about makes it. What a great effort that was. Everything but the 10 pin went. The 7, 8, 9 all went. Now Rick's on his second football. He's on the head pin, so he gets a 7. So closes his half with the 63 first half. And he has the 2 and the 6 and the 10 left. And he's going to play it cautiously and just try to pick up a 9 box, which he does. 72 after 6. Well on pace for a 108. And Bob closes out with a 9 box, and he's at 64. Down 9 pins, but he's up against 3 marks in the next 4. And there's a mark for Bob Lee. That was big. Big strike. He needs those. And Kamroski on the head pin has the 3, 6, 10, 7 split. Wood in front of the 7 makes it a little easier, but not much. And Rick moved way to the right on that one, but still couldn't get the ball to the 3 pin, so just wants to pin out of this one. And just gets 1. So a 7 box for Rick, 79 after 7. Still on pace. Still on pace. Okay, Bobby in box 8, his first of 2 fill balls on a strike in his 7th. And that looked really good, like it was going to be a double. 8 so far, and that is a 6-7 split. Kamroski's off on the 2-pin, and he's left with a 1-3-7. And Bob misses everything, an 8 fill. So box 7, he closes with 82, brings him closer, but he's still down. And Rick picks up the spare. Beautiful shot. Goes on the inside, takes out the 1, 3, and 7. And Bob closes with a 9 box for 91 after 8. And in completed boxes, Capone was at 105. So Bob's down 14. He needs to get a 121. He needs another 30 pins in 2 boxes to tie 31 to win. And off on the 3-pin. Really needs a strike in here somewhere now. Kamroski on the fill. A little fall on the head pin, and he has the virtual opposite of what he had in the last box, pretty close to it. 2, 4, 7, and the 6-pin, and Bobby goes to the left, picks up 2 more. Rick very close to making that spare. He's a 95 after 8. And Bob with another 9 box for 100. So Bobby needs a double strike here. And Rick is at 105. He needs 3 pins to win this string. And a 9 drop for Bob with a great first ball. And a 5 drop for Rick. That will officially win this string for him. He's left with a cleary right. Bob's just got the 10-pin. Gets the mark. Puts him at 110 plus a ball. So with a strike, he'd be down 1 pin. And Rick picks up 2 more. And has a 7 box for a 112 in his second string. And another 2 points. And Bob with a nice fill. And finishes with a 118.
All right, Bob, come back. Get it close.
So far in total, Kamroski is at 221 versus a 214. So in his total so far, he is up 7 pins. In the other match, Mike Capone is at 241, and Bob Lee is at 224. So Capone is up 17 pins in total at the moment. So we're going to start game 3 now. And Ashlee Breton starts off with the 6 drop and has a 4 horseman right, which is also known as a Kamroski special.
He's doing what he has to. He's doing exactly what he has to.
All right. Hello.
And Mike Capone drops a strike. Oh, Ashlee makes a great effort of picking up a 10 box, closes with an 8, leaving only the 110. So far, Mike and Rick have both picked up 4 points, so they're both at 117 in total wins. They need to be at 120 to tie.
Hang on.
They need to be at 120 to tie Kyle and Brian to make a 4-way tie. First ball on Mike Capone's fill is a 3. He went off onto the 4-pin. Ashlee had a spread eagle. Nicely picks up the right-hand 3. And Capone in his second fill ball. Oh, he drops the ball, but he picks up a couple more. That's a 5 fill. So 15 in the first box. And Ashlee gets an 8 box, just picks up the 7-pin.
Oh boy.
Right back, Ash.
Mike with an 8 box for 23 after 2. 7. Sorry, 7 box. I didn't see the 1 pin back there. So 22 after 2. Ashlee's back on the head pin again. This time it's a much better leave. It leaves the 3 and a 6. Mike's on the 3 pin. 1, 2, 9, 10. Possible if he cuts over the head pin over into that mess.
That's a shot.
Oh, just off the head pin. Everything but the head pin. That was the right area to put that. And Ashlee has a 10 for 26 after 3. And Capone with a 10 for 32 after 3. Box 4. Ashlee's on the 6 pin, just gets a 6 pin. And Capone with another bomb. No doubt about that one. And Ashlee throws a great ball. Takes out everything but the 2, 4, 5. And looking for a 10. And she gets a 9 with a wiggly 2 pin. So a 9 box, 35 after 4 for Ashlee. Mike's at 42 plus 2 balls after 4. All right, first ball in the 5th box, and Ashlee's on the 6 pin, but gets a little bit better result this time, picks up 3. Mike, first ball on his fill. Nice ball. Left-handed pocket. And 7 so far. 8 so far. And a 3, 5 are left with some wood.
Hit it.
42, he's at 42 plus. Oh,
And
Schneickel.
just deflected it over. So 9 in the fill. 51 after 4. And Ashlee closes this with a 6 box for 41 at the half. And Mike has a 10, 61 after 5 when he sits down. And now at the midpoint in the match,
He's at 41.
Kamroski will be on the right, Bob Lee on the left. And Rick Kamroski is trying to get a 108 or better in each string. Has done it for the first 2 with a 109 and a 112. And Bob Lee's looking to come back from decent strings, but not quite enough to catch up on Mike Capone. So Rick,
Ask them to be patient on the scoreboards, because I'm new. Ask them to be patient on the scoreboards.
so having some technical issues with the scoring on the screen, so just little patience for the viewers. It will come up and be on time. And I'm giving the scores as we go along. Bob Lee drops 9. Rick Kamroski drops 6. He's got the 4, 5, 7, 8 with some wood that he might be using here. And he is. And it worked. He read it and he got it. Bob's got just a 7 pin alone. He's got some wood there that could help, but if he goes for the pin, it might be, which he does, puts it in the gutter. That's a 9 box. So those of you, and I think everybody probably watching is familiar with candlepin scoring, but just in case, if the ball goes in the gutter and comes out and takes out a pin, that ball does not count. That's a foul. Kamroski on the fill. He's off on the 2-pin. He gets 5 in the fill for 15 after his first box. And Bob drops, looks like 3 in that. That is 3. He was on the 3-pin, and he took out 3. Rick misses a spare. He was way off to the right. Just picked up 1 on that one. Well, Bob was right where he wanted to be on that one. It took out everything but the 5-10. There's not much you can do about that. It's a great ball. And Rick has a 6-box for 21 after 2. And Bob with another 9-box for 18 after 2. In completed boxes, that puts Capone 4 pins ahead. He was at 22 after 2. I included a strike in the first, but there's a strike in the fourth for Mike, too. And Rick off on the 2-pin. And just takes out, he's left with a mess there. A 4 horsemen plus a triangle. Bob on the head pin in the left, a little light. And takes out 5. Now Rick's got to shoot this like he's shooting a 4 horseman. I hope it carries over to the triangle. And he just gets 3 more. And Bobby puts it through the hole. Still has the same 4 pins standing. Same 5 pins standing. There's a 9-pin back there too. And a 7-box for Rick for 28 after 3. Puts him under par. And Bob with the 5-box for 23 after 3. Down 9 pins in completed boxes. But he's got 2 to go. And anything can happen here. Kamroski ball 1 and get box 4, and he drops 9. Is going to be 10. Okay, 4 pins going to stand, but great ball. And Bobby duplicates that. Same great ball, 9 drop, 4 pin left. And Rick just cleans out the wood behind the pin. And Bob's all over that one, so that 9 drop did not go to waste. And it's a good answer to the spare that Mike Capone had in that same box. Okay, so Rick's at 38 after 4. Needs a spare to get up over 50, which is where he wants to be. That's a great ball. Everything but the 8-pin went. And Bob in the pocket, but only 5 went, so that puts him at 38 after 4. And Rick picks up the spare in the 5th, as he wanted to. 48 plus a ball. And Bob put that right on the object pin as he wished to do, and everything but the 5 and the 8 went, so no spare there. It'll be open in the 5th. And a 10-box, 48. So our first bowlers will come up now. Ashlee on the left, Mike on the right. Mike's at 61 after 5. And that puts him up 13 pins over Bob Lee's 48. Ashlee's at 41 after 5.
Oh, there it is.
First ball, Mike Capone has another strike. That's his 3rd strike in this game. Ashlee threw an equivalently good ball. Equally good ball. And she gets a 7-10 with some wood. Got to make that dance. And there he goes. Here we go. Oh, she almost did it. And a nicely done 10 bucks. She made that pin dance, and it just didn't have enough to take out the 10 pin. But it was a great effort on that. Mike Lee in box 7. This will be the first of 2 fill balls for Mike Capone. And the first ball nets 8. That also is in a pocket. Ashlee's off on a 3 pin. Takes out 4. Left with the right-handed side of the rack, or the left-handed side of the rack. I'm sorry, she took out the right-handed side. And Capone with another mark. 10 fill. And he's at 81 after 6. He's in great shape on this string. Ashlee picked up 3 more. Has just a 147. And she's going for the 1 and goes wide to the right. 7 bucks. 58 after 7. Mike's a 91 plus this ball after 7. He's putting a lot of heat on Bob. And Mike punches out 2 for a 2 fill. It gives him 93 after 7. And he's shooting at the half Worcester leave. Ashlee threw a great ball and just to the left of the head pin and has a 4 horseman right. Bob tries to go on the inside to pick up the spare. Does everything but the 5 and the 7. And Ashlee right on the object pin, but a little full. Takes out just 1. And a 10 box. He cleaned them all up. And then 103 after 8. And Ashlee picks up 2 more for 67 after 8. Again, they're not bowling against each other. Mike Capone's bowling against Bob Lee. And Ashlee is bowling to pace Rick Kamroski, who's bowling against the averages of another bowler. Capone, box 8-9. He's on the 4 pin, gets some nice late action, and drops 5. Half Worcester left for Ashlee. We've seen a lot of half Worcesters in this match. Capone on the object. Nice hit. Not enough to take out everything. He's left with just a 2 pin.
There they go.
Ashlee right in the pocket for that and takes everything but the 5.
Nice ball.
That was a great effort. And Mike with a 10 box for 113 after 9. And so far in this game, Mike Capone has only left 3 pins standing. Everything but the second box was a 10 or better. Drops 9, almost another strike. Ashlee right in there.
Go down, both.
Come on,
of
get
you.
on.
Come on, get rid of them both.
There's 1.
Goodness, the one that didn't
That's the one I didn't think would go.
That's about the 5th time I've seen her throw a ball that looked like it was going to be a strike and just 1 pin's left. Capone on a spare attempt. He's got it all over it. It puts him at 123 plus a ball. And Ashlee's got a spare for this string.
Oh, did I?
All right. She's calling it a foul. Okay, I thought that was a spare. Okay. She called a foul on herself for going over the line. And so she ends up with an 84, and Mike Capone puts an 8 on that spare. And ends up with a 131. And Bob Lee is commenting that Mike Capone will be in the A division next year in bowling like this. That gives Capone for 3 strings, 372. Great triple. All right, so Bob's at 48. And I don't need to say he needs a really big half here to catch up with him. Rick's at 48 plus a ball, shooting for a 108 or better. Bobby puts it right in the pocket. And the Candlepin gods felt that it wasn't time to give him a strike and left him a 5-7 split. Rick off to the right, just 2 in the fill. So a 50 half. Bob tries to kick the 5 over to the 7 and goes a little wide. Not by much. Okay, he's got 8 down for Kamroski so far. And Bob just takes out the 5 pin for $9, and he's at 57 after 6. And there's Rick's ball. He's picks up a $10. First couple balls, he was having a little trouble being off to the left, and he cleaned that up with the 3rd ball. Bob in box 7 on the head pin again.
Another great ball.
Another split. 7-8 and a 6 and 10 on the right. There's Rick's ball. Okay, just off the head pin, but look at this late action. Everything but the head pin. Little spin on the ball, as John was saying. And Bob tries to take it off the wall for the spare attempt. He just picked up the 2 on the right. And Rick's all over that one for a spare and a 7th, and that gives him 70 plus a ball. That'll put him back up over par. And Bob with the 7-8 only gets the 8. That's $9. So he's at 66 after 7. At this point in his game, Capone was at 93. So there's a 27 pin deficit right at the moment. Needs to mark out, really. And he's sure been throwing a good ball. I mean, it's his first ball's been right in there. This one's a much better leave. He just has a 5 pin with some iffy wood. I'm thinking if he puts it in that V, it might go. Rick's off to the right on the 2 pin. Or on the 3 pin, I'm sorry. I'm doing everything backwards at the moment. And the wood deflects the ball around the pin. No spare in the 8th for Bob. Rick takes out a few more. He's left with a 1, 5, and 9 for the 10 attempt. And he's at 73 after 7. And that was a $10 for 83. Right what he needed. So he needs 25 pins to win this string. So he's got to make a spare. Bob takes out everything but the 8, 9, 10 with wood in front of it. Looks like we're going to have somebody run down and get that. And Kamroski in the pocket for a nice 9-drop 5 pin only. The king pin stands alone. He's got some wood there that may be helpful. And Mike Capone's going down to remove the pin out of it. I think that goes.
Better boy, Thumper. Say better boy, Thumper.
All right, so Bob's going for a much-needed mark here. And it doesn't go, and that puts the game out of reach for him, because he would have needed a spare and then a triple strike, or double strike anyway, to have a chance. And there's a spare that Rick needs. So it puts him in 93 plus a ball. He needs a decent fill. And Bob's got a $9 for 85 after 9.
Try to get a 4 this time.
5 would be, you need a 5.
Take 7, what the hell?
Bob Lee in the pocket.
There you go, Bob.
And 9 go. Will it be 10? Nope. Just a 4 pin alone. Capone will win game 3. Kamroski in the pocket. And that's a 7. Is it going to be 8? 7 in the fill.
Jinxed it with a 7.
And that wins a string for him if he gets one more pin. So he's at 107 down. Bob picks up a spare in the 10th. So Rick needs one more pin to win this string. There it is. It was a little scary going down, but he got the pin he needed. Not a lot of margin here. And Bob with an 8 drop, so Bob Lee ends up with a 103 to Mike Capone's 131, and Kamroski picks up another pin for a 109, so he'll win game 3.
I should aim a little further right on the I did aim.
And Lee has a 103.
I mean, I wasn't even 10.
So for totals so far, let me add these up.
Yeah, I need to bounce it off the wood. Yeah, but you were saying you can hit the wood on the right.
Rick Kamroski is at 330 versus his opponent, whose total at this point would be a 321, so he's up 9 pins on total. Bob Lee is at 327, and that's against Capone's 372. So Mike Capone, who dropped another strike in box 1. So Mike Capone has a 45 pin lead on total at the moment. Both Mike and Rick have picked up 6 points. So right now in our playoff standings, that puts both Rick and Mike at 119 in total points for the year. And they're knocking on the door against Brian Fournier and Kyle Hetty, who both have 120 and have finished their matches. So if they only get one more point, then we have a 4-way tie. If any of them gets 2 more points, they'll move ahead. On his first fill ball, Mike Capone dropped 7. Ashlee had a nice 8 drop. And picks up a spare in the second box. Nice shot. And Capone with a 179. And he picks up the 1 and the 9 for a 9 fill. 19 after the first box. I see we got a bunch of people watching. I haven't acknowledged everybody. I've been trying to keep up with 2 bowlers at a time. Mike has a 9 box for 28 after 2. Ashlee's a 17 plus a ball. And she fills with a 3 for 20 after 2. And Capone with another ball in the pocket. I don't know how many strikes he's got, but it's a bunch. Ashlee just picks up 1 more pin. Mike dropped 4. And he's off the object pin. Just picks up 1 more, so he's at 7 so far. Ashlee needs to pin out here, and unbelievably, she goes off in a 3 pin and gets only a 3 pin. He couldn't, and Mike gets a 10 box, 38 after 3. It's very frustrating when you hit a pin in the middle of the cluster and it only takes that pin. She's on the 6 pin. Takes out 2. Capone coming into box 4 with 38 after 3. And he's slightly out of the pocket on the right and just leaves a 4 horsemen left.
Do you have my scores? I haven't been down.
And Ashlee picks up 3 more. And Capone going for a spare on the 4 horsemen. And everything but the 4 pin. Just a little light on the head pin. And Ashlee pins out well in this box. Challenging box, gets a 9, 34 after 4. And Mike's at 48 after 4 with that 10 box. And a much better ball on the head pin. 2, 4, 7, and 8 for Ashlee with some wood. And Mike in the pocket again on the left-hand side. Drops 9 and leaves only the 6-pin with wood in front of it. Ashlee with another mark. Sits down with a 44 plus a ball. And a spare for Capone for 58 and a ball after 5. So Ashlee had that disappointing 5 box, but still ends up with the possibility of being over 50 at the half. And Mike's on a roll here. He's at 58 plus a ball. And now Rick and Bob come up. Rick on the right. And Bob needs to answer the call that Mike's put in front of him because he wants some points here. One more to make a tie. So win this next game and you're going ahead of those guys. Same with Rick. Rick starts out with a 7 box and he's left with the 1, 8, 9 pin. Bobby goes off to the right under the 6 pin, just picks up 3. Nice shot. Oh, and he's on the head pin and the 8 doesn't carry. Piece of wood went off the wall and went right in front of him. Much better ball from Bob. He's on the head pin. And he's left with 3 pins, a 3, 4, 10. And Rick with a 10 box in the first box. And a 7 box for Bob Lee. And as you'll recall, Mike hit a strike 9 in the first box. So it's a 12-pin deficit coming out of box 1. Kamroski with ball 1 in box 2. And drops 7. Bob Lee, he's back on the head pin, but a little too good that time. Takes out just 3. He's got the 4 or the spread eagle plus a 9 pin. Was lucky enough myself to make that in November. Went for the 3. See if Bobby will do it. Yep, that's what he's doing. Nope. Nearly very, very difficult shot to make. And now Bob wants to pick up just 4. Rick's got a 9 box for 19 after 2. And Bob went wide to the right and sits down on this one. Finishes this one with a 5 box. He's at 12 pins after 2. He really, really wants to get the mark ball, the spare ball going here. Rick coming into box 3. On the head pin, little full, 2, 4, 7, 10. There we go. That's what Bob's been looking for. Just a small difference, you know, John, with that, because the spread eagle, he moves it slightly to the right and gets a strike. And Rick, what an effort. That almost went. He takes out the 3 and moved over the 2 pin to the right, but it went in front of the 10 instead of hitting it. And puts that one in the gutter. So a 9 box for Rick, 28 after 3. And Bob's at 22 plus 2 balls. Wants to keep these marks coming. Rick on his first ball, he's off on the 3. Gets the right-handed half of the rack. And Bob on his first fill ball. He got some good action. He released the ball a little early and went to the right, but took out 7 to start. He's got a tough leave here. And the question is, do you just go for the 9 fill or do you try to get the spare? And he was going for the spare, and he ends up with a 7 fill, so 29 after 3. And Kamroski with a 10 box for 38 after 4. Same spot he was in the last game. And there's a 9 box for Bob. 38 after 4, too. So in completed boxes, currently he's down 10 from Capone. Rick with his first ball, and nice ball. Nice ball comes into the pocket. And it looks like he's left with the, I want to say the 8 and the 10.
10 mix.
And Bob threw a good ball as well. He's got a split to play with here. He's plenty of wood. See if we can make that dance. But that's the 4, 8, and 10. And Rick will be open in the 5th. Bob just hit the back wood. Not where he wanted it to be. He wanted to be in that front wood, I think. And Rick with a 9 box for 47 at the half. So he's going to have to get a mark or two to win the 4th game.
It's too much work.
And, well, Bob hit the wood that he wanted to hit, but nothing standing fell, so it's a 7 box, 47, or 45, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong scoreboard. 45 after 5 for Bob, and he's up against Mike Capone's 58 plus a ball. So Mike and Ashlee come up and bowl again. Ashlee's at 44 plus a ball. So good fill puts her over 50 where she wants to be.
Mine is up the score. The score shows Cocchii's 107. So the number.
Yep. Thinking the 108. He needs a 108. All right, Capone on his first ball for a fill gets 7. And that gives Mike Capone 65 at the half, and Ashlee drops a strike. You can't make a better fill than that. So she's at 54, and she's back in this game. And Capone with 3 to shoot at, and only 2 go. He's on the object, but the middle pin decided to stick around. And a 9 box, 74 after 6 for Capone. Yep. Yeah, Rick's going to need, what, a 68 half? And Ashlee, come on, get over. Almost a double. And Mike dropped 3 on his first ball. And goes a little full on a head pin, and Ashlee for a spare attempt. And no doubt about that one, a spare on strike. So spare, strike, spare. She's a 74 after 6, 84 plus a ball in the 7th.
Oh, this guy.
A nice attempt by Mike. 9 box, 83 after 7. And here comes Mike. He hasn't thrown anything under 120 yet. Trying to keep that going. Ashlee on that head pin with a 6 in the fill, and that gives her 90 after 7. Mike just has an inverted half Worcester right. 3 and the 9 pin. And he gets it. Tough spare to make. 93 and a ball for Mike. So easy to get the half Worcester as a punch out when it's only those 2 pins up there. And Ashlee will have a 7 box, 97 after 8. Having a good string here. So Capone on a fill. He's a 93 plus whatever this ball is. And that ball is 5. 6. Is it going to be 7? It's going to be 6. So a 6 fill gives him 99 after 8. And Ashlee drops 7 for her first ball. She's left with a 1, 2, 5. Capone. Oh, he came close to making what Bob calls the banana split.
Take it. Oh, come on.
Picks up 2, just a 5 left for Ashlee. $10 for Capone, 109. And a $9 for Ashlee, 106. So if Mike wants to continue his string of being over 120 for every string, he needs a mark here. And a nice ball gives him 7. And Ashlee threw a great ball, but the spread eagle plus the 8 pin is the result. So Mike's just got the 1, 2, and 7 for the spare attempt. And goes wide, so for the first time he'll be under 120. Ashlee just kicks the 2. And only takes out 2. I kind of like, I agree, John mentioned the wood will help. I agree, I like that wood. All right, $4 for Ashlee. So Ashlee ends up with a 112 string, I'm sorry. 112. And Capone at 118. And Bob Lee now trying to come back here. Kamroski needs 61 in this half. He needs at least a spare, probably 2, to win this string. Because he's trying to get a 108 to beat the 107 average of his opponent. Lee takes out the middle wood. Rick is left with a 1 pin plus the 7, 8, 9 with a piece of wood behind the head pin. And gets everything but the 7 pin. Great effort. And nice $9 by Bob Lee. And a $9 for Kamroski for 56 after 6. 54 after 6 for Bob. Yeah, you had a $9. Oh, okay. Rick needs to clean up a pin in the gutter. Give me a chance to do some addition here for everybody. And so Ashlee, after 4, is thrown 394. And Capone has thrown 490 for 4 games. Kamroski, first ball in box 7, leaves him this 5, 7, 8. And Bob Lee is shooting at a 4 horseman right. And he picks it up. Picks it up. Nicely done. He needs that spare and probably one more. And Lee with a $9, 63 after 7, and in completed boxes he's got a 20-pin deficit, but he's up against a spare 6. So he's trying to get to 119. He's got a ways to go here. He needs to pick up at least 2 marks in these last 3 boxes. All right, we talked about the speeds of the bowler's balls in the last. Okay, and Kamroski is throwing at 29 miles an hour. Machine up there tells us. And I'm getting 33 on Bob's, but I'm not sure that's accurate right at the moment. So Lee drops a 9. And Kamroski just off that. 7 in the fill, 73 after 7. And Lee's at 63 after 7. And a $10. Nice $10 for Bob. for 73 after 8. And Rick needs to pin here, and he needs another spare. And a 9 box, 82. So to get to 108, he needs 26 pins in 2 boxes. So he needs a spare 6 and a 10 box. Or whatever combination gets him. Bob Lee on the head pin for a spread eagle in box 9. Nice ball. And he gets a check mark. He did not get a spread eagle, fortunately for him. Bob trying to spare this. Kick some stuff off the wall. Just picks up a couple more. And Rick going for a needed spare. And he's off onto the 6th pin. Right now he needs to pin out and pick up a spare in the 10th. And Lee, great shot, 9 box, 82 after 9. And a 10 box for Kamroski. He needed that. Now he needs a spare in the 10th if he wants to win this string. As he's up against a 107. And Mike Capone will win this game. And Bob is celebrating the fact that that's not a split. I understand his pain. We've all been there. All right, Kamroski. Okay, goes off to the right. He's got the one side out with 4 out on the right. He's got a chance to make the spare, and he needs to make the spare. And Bob picks up a spare in the 10th. Not enough to win the string, but a great way to go out anyway. All right, and Kamroski does not make the spare, so he will not get points for the string. And has an 8 box for a 100 string in game 4. And that gives him 430 for 4. And Lee fills his spare with 6 for 98 string, and Mike Capone will win game 4 too. So that makes our playoff situation very interesting, because Capone now has 121 points, which puts him ahead of Brian Fournier and Kyle Hetty. So he is now the 8th seed. So as it stands now, we have Mike Capone in the 8th spot, Brian and Kyle in 9th and 10th, and Kamroski in 11th. So Mike picked up 2 points here. Oops, let me get Lee's score down. So Mike picked up another 2, and nobody picked up points on Kamroski's match. Yep. Okay. In totals,
Rick is up 2.
okay, you got that? Thank you.
430 to 428.
Okay, good. I got the 430. Okay, so in totals right now, Rick has a 430, and the average of his opponent is 428, so he's up 2 on total, and needs to win this string to get back in there. And Capone is up 65 pins, 490 to 425 against Bob Lee here. Okay, so back to the action. Ashlee dropped a 9 box. Mike Capone did not mark in his first box for a change, and has a 9 box himself. Oh, right in the pocket, and everything but the 7. And Ashlee goes wide to the right, still has 4 standing. And a spare for Mike Capone. And all Mike needs to get a 600 set is a 110 in this game. And Ashlee has a 9-box for 18 after 2. So if Mike picks up this string and total, that's another 6 points. And that'll put him in a 7th seed position.
Oh, it almost fell the right way.
And Mike drops 8. Oh, it looks good, I think. He drops 8. He's left with the 3 and the 7 for a split. Ashlee dropped 4. Okay, a little bit of a look at the wood to see if that wood was still in play. And Mike decided it is. So he's going to the right, and a little too far to the right, puts in the gutter. Ashlee trying to pick up a 10 with a cluster 4 in there, and she just picks up the back pin. And Capone takes the prudent shot of just picking up the 7 pin. So he's at 36 after 3. Ashlee's at 25 after 3. Nice ball by Ashlee Breton with a head pin shot that only took out 7. And Mike Capone off to the left. He drops 6. He's left with a 1, 3, 6, and 9. And Ashlee just picks up the 10 pin on that mess down there. And Capone on a spare attempt. He's on the object pin, and the back pin just sticks around, doesn't go. Nice effort. And Ashlee makes a field goal, but that doesn't give you any points here. So she's at 8. With that box for 33 after 4, and Capone's at 46 after 4 with that 10 box. And Ashlee with her first ball is on the 2 pin. Cleans up everything but the 4 horsemen right. And what do we have here? It's a lot of action back there, and he's left with the 1 and 7. And a little bit of tricky wood to the right of the head pin. Ashlee picks up 1 more. And, yep, that wood was a little tricky. It ended up being a cap and taking nothing but the wood. And Ashlee picks up 2 out of the 3 that were left. And so with that 9 box, she's a 42 after the half. And Capone picks up the 10 box, playing on the inside. 56 after 5. You're 121 right now. You pick up 6 more points. And that puts you in 7th seed.
If you win, you're in.
Yeah, for sure, because he'd be the 7th seed.
Well, you're in now, right?
Yeah, he's in now. He's ahead of you and Brian.
And Bob beat you.
No, he's got 6 points, 8 points right now.
No.
2, 4. Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, you have 8. You won. No, Mike, you have 8. Yeah, you're at 121 right now. You're at 121. You would have had these guys by 1 point. So.
Oh, come on. Oh.
So Rick could tie you. So Kamroski starts game 5 with a 9 box. And Bob Lee has 9 so far and looking for a 10. And he's off in a gutter. So a pair of 9 boxes. Everybody's got a 9 box for the box 1 in this game. All 4 bowlers. 9s are wild. All right. Rick's off on the 3-pin, takes out, looks like 4. Has a bit of a cluster down there. And Bobby's on the head pin where he wants to be. And once again, the pins do not cooperate with a nice ball. No guarantees in this game. Rick picks up the spare for 19 plus a ball after 2. And Bobby picks up a great spare, the 7, 8, 10. Use the wood. That gives him 19 in a ball after 2. Matching Capone's spare. And Kamroski puts a strike on the spare. No doubt about that one. So he's at 29 after 2, and Lee picks up 6 on his spare for 25 after 2. He's got the 1, 2, 4, and 8 pin standing. Just off of his object. Just picks up 2 more. And the 1, 2 remain for the 10 attempt. And a 9 box for Bob for 34 after 3. He's only down 2 pins from Capone in this string so far. Kamroski ball 1 of his 2-ball fill. And that was almost a double strike. So 9 in the first ball. He put a strike on his spare in the second box. He's going to try to put a spare on the strike. And Bob just put a little spin on that, put it on the 2-pin. And he's left with a 1, 3, 6, and 9. And Rick misses a spare, so it'll be a 9 fill for 48 in box 3. And Bob with an 8 box for 42 after 4. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a spare attempt. He still has another ball. Rick Hick picks up a 10 for 58 after 4. So Bob's going to try to pick up 10 here. And it's a 9 for 43 after 4. And Rick in box 5. Nice ball, and it's going to be a 9 drop, leaving only the 4-pin. Bob buries that in the pocket. Absolutely buried that in the pocket, and he gets 9 anyway. It's a little late action on that. Some wood that could guide the ball in there. Rick going for a single pin alone. And no doubt about that one, a spare in the 5th gives Rick Kamroski 68 plus a ball after 5 in game 5. And Bob Lee picks up the spare, so he's at 53 plus a ball after 5 in game 5. And so it's very tight with him and Capone in game 5. Mike Capone comes up and bowls on lane 16 now with 56 after the half. And Lee's at 53 plus a ball. And Ashlee on lane 15 with 42 at her half. And we're coming into the final half of this match. Last 5 boxes. Yep, 68 plus a ball. So Capone with ball 1 in box 6. And he's on the 2-pin and drops everything but the 1, 3, 6. Ashlee is on the head pin and leaves a triangle on the left, which is composed of the 2, 4, and 5 pins.
Boom.
And Capone picks up the mark, no doubt about that. Bob Lee noted that on the release of that ball that was going to fall. Ashlee misses to the right on her spare attempt. And makes it 10. 52 after 6 for Ashlee. Mike's at 66 plus a ball. trying to fight off a challenge in this last match from Bob. And only 3 in the fill, 69 after 6. Here's on the 4-pin. Ashlee has the 1, 8, 6, and 10 with some interesting wood.
Oh, wow.
And Mike makes up for that bad first ball by picking up the spare. So 79 and a ball for Mike after 7 boxes. Ashlee goes to the left. And she's got the 1, 6, 10 with some wood. And she's going for the shot again. And the good misses to the left. So a 7 box gives her 59 after 7. Capone with his 2nd mark in a row, so he's a 79 plus this ball. Coming into box 8. All over the head pin and picks up a 9, breaks up the split. He's happy about that. And that's 88 after 7. Ashlee punches out to the left with the half Worcester left. Just the 2 and the 8 go. And Mike picks up the spare by hitting the wood behind the pin. So that's 3 in a row, 98 plus a ball. Doesn't always have, you don't always have to hit it to get it. All right, and Ashlee ends up with a 6 box, 65 after 8. Mike said 98 after 8, 3 spares in a row. We don't pay bonus money here for that, like they did on one of the old TV shows. But it's still something to accomplish. Here he comes up on the fill ball. And he's off to the right, and he's getting some late action, which I think is stopped. So that's 4 in the fill, 102 after 8. Ashlee dropped 9, just the 10 pin to shoot at. And Mike off the object pin. Ashlee hit the wood, but it didn't take out the pin. Mike's left with 2 more to shoot at. And a 9 box for Mike Capone, a 10 box for Ashlee Breton. Mike's at 111, and Ashlee's at 75 after 9. And I believe Ashlee's going to call a foul on herself again. So it's a 9 box, 74 after 9. Now Mike needs 9 to be over 120 again, which he has been in 3 of the 4 prior games. And with that 111 after 9, that puts him over 600 for this match. So Mike hit the head pin, but he's left with 4 on the right and plus a 10 pin. Ashlee has the 1, 2, and 7 with some wood. Mike goes wide to the right. Ashlee has the spare. Beautifully shot. Great way to finish. And Mike just has 3 to shoot at. 2 together and 1 to the right. And he goes wide left with a 7. It'll be a 118 box or game for Mike Capone. Ashlee fills her spare with 4 for an 88. An 88 after the 5th box, 5th game. All right, so Capone, 118. Gives him a 608 for his match today. And Ashlee with her 88. Throws a 482. So Bob Lee fills his spare with 7, giving him a 60 half. And Kamroski with 7 also, and that gives him a 75 half. He's trying to put this away. Bob Lee with just a 1, 2, and 4 to shoot at, and just picks up the 2. Rick has a 5, 7, 8 with a piece of wood by the 5. He's going for the pins and picks up 2, leaves a 7 pin. Yeah, absolutely. As John was saying, that was tough to hit with his curve that Rick throws naturally. Bob has an 8 box for 68 after 6. He's up against 3 marks in a row here. And Rick has a 9 box for 84 after 6. So Bob picks up 6 more pins, leaves a 4 horseman right. And Kamroski punches out but gets a couple of extras. Yeah, he's got 1 pin that moved quite a bit. I don't know if that was the 10 or the 6.
It was the 6, right? I think it was the 6.
Yeah, because the 9's still there. That moved way off spot. Bob is going to try it. Nah, it's going to go behind it.
Oh, spot
And Rick's ball was drawn to that pin that moved out of spot. Picked up a few more. He's got 3 more to shoot at. Bob's got 1. 9 box for Bob Lee. 77. And Rick has a 9 box for 93. So Bob needs 41 pins in 3 boxes. You need 2 marks. And there's one of them. He needed a strike would make a big difference there. 87 plus 2 balls for Bob Lee. Rick's at 93. He just needs a 108 to put this away. And he drops 6. He's left with 1, 2, 4, and 9 with some wood behind the line. I don't know that it's angled perfectly, but it could go here. We'll see. He's got to be on that head pin, and he is. And he hit it well, but it left the 4 pin standing. And that's a 10 box for 103 for Rick. 5 more pins will win the game and total for him. Bob is on a strike. Needs some big fills here. And he's on the head pin, a little late action. That's 7 for his first ball, and the leave is the 3, 5, 10. Mini split plus a 5. And Rick Kamroski with a strike, and he will take 12 points today. And Bob misses a spare, so he's only 7 in the fill for 94 after 8. And the 9 box gives him 103, so he needs 15 pins to tie, 16 to win. So obviously a spare 6 for Bob Lee will win a string for him, so he'll get some points. Nice ball. Too good. Spread eagle -1. Bob's not pleased with that. Kamroski on the strike fill. And there's 6. Bob's got to make an impossible shot. And Mike Capone will take all points today. And Kamroski misses a spare attempt, 7 on the strike, 120 plus 7 pins in a tent, so possible 130 if he picks up these. And Bob Lee makes a great effort to come back here, 111. And Kamroski gets a 10 bucks for a 130 string. So hang on to me for just a second, folks. 130. That gives Rick Kamroski a 560. So he's got 2 and 4. So Rick picks up 12 points. So what does that do to Rick's standings? 12 points gives him a 225. and that puts him right into the 8th position at the moment. Now, let's consider
I'm out.
Capone here. Capone, no, you're not out. I don't think. Let's see. You're out? Okay. Okay, so Lee with a 111. 2, 4, 14. So, he got 12. Yep. Okay, so Mike Capone with 14 points. That puts him at 227. That puts him into the 7th seed. And Kevin in the 8th seed with 126. Kamroski is the 9th seed now with 125. And so Brian and Kyle have been bumped out. And Rick is just a point shy of making the playoffs. So very, very tight wild card race here in the B Division South. But thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, John O'Hearn, for doing the production. The bowlers did a great job today. And we'll wrap up tonight, and the standings will be posted. So thanks, everybody, for joining us, and on to the playoffs.